One thing I asked my surgeon was, what could I do to promote healing? She recommended I eat high protein, and I found she was definitely right. I also found that eating high fat was helpful, so think large bowls of full fat Greek yogurt with peanut butter and maple syrup mixed in. My husband would also make me these ginormous protein shakes, and I would think, wow, how am I going to finish one of those? But if I didn't drink one every morning for about the first couple weeks after surgery, I felt horrible, super lethargic and uncomfortable. One thing that surprised me was just how fatigued I was for the first couple weeks. And I thought I was so cool walking around my house, feeling good about moving from the bedroom to the dining room table, thinking, okay, I have energy. And then I go outside and get about 5-10 feet from the door and have to sit down. Definitely get good rest and good food. And when you're ready to start moving, and martial artist, when you're cleared to start moving, I highly recommend doing physical therapy. For the first 4 weeks after surgery, I wasn't allowed to move my arms higher than this. But at that point, they said that I could start lifting weights. I also had lymph nodes removed on my right side to make sure the cancer had not spread. It had not, but I had to lose 7 lymph nodes for them to determine that. And so that side felt a little off. It felt weak, and I also had a lot of numbness from my armpit to my elbow. So that also affected my ability to move initially. That has improved significantly since the surgery, but I still have some numbness. Initially, I was able to lift 10 pounds overhead on my left side where I did not have lymph nodes removed, and it was about 5 pounds on my right side. I worked really hard over the next few weeks and felt really good about where I was strength-wise, but I decided to do physical therapy just in case, just to see where I was at. And I wanted to make sure that I had maximized my range of motion and my strength, because we know from martial arts training and self-defense training that if you don't have good strength and range of motion, that's going to get old really fast. If you think about what I do with stick fighting, I need to be able to hold the weapon back here, execute a strike, and it cannot go flying out of my hand when I swing. I was surprised that as strong as I felt after a few weeks, I was not back to normal. I would have said I was close to 100%, but I was not. I had some strength issues and limited range of motion in areas I didn't realize. The physical therapist said I probably just didn't notice this because I had been inactive for so long that 100% just was not 100% anymore. So I should be aiming for 110%. Because I was planning for reconstructive surgery, I was gearing up for surgery number 2. So they were sort of helping me do a prehab. I highly recommend this. If you're not sure how to talk to your physical therapist about your martial arts training, I recommend talking to your martial arts instructor and asking if he or she can provide a couple of videos to show the movement. That will help the therapist design your exercise. Tell your physical therapist that your training is important to you. They love working with motivated patients. I ended up only doing 3 physical therapy sessions because I was able to go through the exercises alone, and my husband has a lot of knowledge in this area and was able to help me correct. You may want to do more sessions if you can afford it, or if you just want the feedback or accountability, or if you just really miss getting your ass kicked. That's fun too. I was able to comfortably start swinging a stick about 10 weeks after surgery. I probably could have started a little sooner, but I was more focused on my physical therapy exercises. And at that point, I would not have been comfortable doing significant impact or contact. I had my reconstructive surgery 3 months after my initial surgery. And this surprised me with how mentally tough it was. So the first surgery was harder physically, but this one was really rough mentally because I had been training so hard to get back up to where I was pre-surgery. I was so motivated. And suddenly it felt like I was back to square one, having restrictions. It wasn't as many restrictions as my first surgery, but I still had restrictions and couldn't work out. So if you think about it, I was diagnosed in August 2020, I had my first surgery in October, and then I had my reconstruction in January 2021. I was just ready to be done. But once again, I was limited. I also had some significant back pain from the inactivity following my second surgery, and that took an extra couple weeks for me to recover. Looking back, I wish I had done some PT around that time as well. I was cleared to start taking Impact late March 2021. At that point, I was focused mostly on fitness, just wanted to feel strong to get ready for a 500 Rising Women's Self-Defense Instructor training that was scheduled for late June. When you're going through treatment and surgeries, I recommend having an overarching goal and then short-term goals as well. When I was diagnosed in August 2020, I knew that I really wanted to attend the next 500 Rising Women's Self-Defense Instructor training, which at the time had been scheduled for spring 2021. And so I really thought along the way, what do I need to do and where are my milestones here so that I can feel good about training at that event? I knew I'd need to be comfortable hitting, grappling, getting thrown around, all the fun stuff we love. The training ended up being moved from April to June, and I think I benefited from this extra time. I could have done it in April, but I felt pretty strong in June, and I had a blast at the 500 Rising. So to recap, number 1, get good nutrition and rest. Good nutrition for you might be different than it was for me, but for me it was high protein and fat, and to be honest, I think a lot of Teddy Grahams. Number 2, do physical therapy. Even if you're feeling close to 100%, your subjective assessment might not match that of a professional's. Number 3, plan for unexpected mental challenges. Really at any point of this process or at any point in your treatment is likely to be different than mine. You might encounter a slump at a different point. It just caught me off guard, so I just want you to be aware that this could creep in at different points, even if you've been feeling great. And finally, number 4, set long-term and short-term goals. Think about the other side of this. What is most important for you to accomplish in the first few months after your treatment is done or while you're in treatment and you're cleared to start training? In the next video, I'll talk about getting back into training, the good, the bad, the slightly awkward.